Welcome back, my wisdom walkers. And to any new viewers, I certainly thank you for coming to visit my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about the title that you saw here, like pregnancy, HIV is preventable. So we're going to get right into this topic. And first of all, I want to say that this is not about blaming the victim or I don't know if there's such a thing as called sex shaming, because that certainly isn't what this is. Let's just all admit sex is a wonderful thing, okay? Not that I have it, but I'm just saying. And I was looking at some of the articles recently about how HIV is on the rise, almost to third world country levels. I was literally shocked. I mean, I actually haven't heard about HIV in decades, and I'm for some reason thinking that had been eradicated. But as long as we're having sex, I guess it wouldn't be. But I thought to myself, what in the hell is going on? Now, in one of my, let me share this with you. So, in my Best of Friends book, the first one is a trilogy, but in my Best of Friends book, there's a character in there that's a advertising agent. Um, and in it, she one of her advertisements says, and she's just looking straight into the camera, and she says, in this day of sexual awareness, no one gives us HIV. We give it to ourselves. Don't just be wary, be aware. Now, the reason I brought that up, not so you can run out or go to Amazon and purchase the book, but that was published in 2001 or 2001 in 2000. So that was 25 years ago when we were aware of protecting ourselves and we knew how to do that. And with today's technology, excuse me, and information age, we have even more information on how we can prevent both of those things unwanted pregnancies, let's just be real, and HIV and other STDs that are around. So, what I want to talk about is, and I know it's not in time for those who have gotten the diagnosis, going through the shock of learning that they've contracted HIV or finding out that they have an unwanted pregnancy. And I remember at one point years ago, someone was explaining to me that, they had an unwanted pregnancy and they didn't want to do that. And I was like, you did everything in your power to make sure you did you have pregnancy. When you're not protecting yourself, you're setting yourself up and you're probably going to give yourself the gift that keeps on giving, okay? So I just want to warn those, well, I don't really want to say warn, I mean all of us, or most of us that are doing that type of activity know the risks that we're taking. And this whole mentality of it's happening to everyone else, but it won't happen to me makes no sense. Okay, so let's just put that out in the open. And again, I'm talking about the preventive measures for HIV, but it's the same for getting pregnant. Okay, we have a plethora of resources, lots of information, lots of different ways to prevent either of those two things. So it's not like it's just one road you have to take, and if you can't take that one, you're just out of luck. There are places we can go, procedures we can have. Some are low cost, some may be expensive. There are some things that you can get access to that are free. But we, as a species, we're not even talking, I don't know, race or gender or income levels, we need to begin to protect ourselves when we're doing some things that we, I guess I could say, enjoy doing with other people. And I, first of all, let me say this because people will be like, well, sometimes people get pregnant because they were molested or raped. I definitely am not talking about that. Okay. So let's all stay on the same page here. Let's all be adults and mature. And let's all know that I'm not talking about rape victims, incest victims, or people that were molested. Okay. So we're not talking about that. I'm talking about people who say they're old enough to do what they want to do, and then they find themselves in these situations, and now they're the victim. They're the ones that someone did that to them. Again, in this day and age, if we're doing things that are not protecting us sexually, mentally, financially, we do not have anyone else to blame but ourselves. We are the ones that are responsible for protecting us. It's not your partner's responsibility to protect you, and most times they won't. Sometimes it could be a situation where they weren't even aware that they were exposed to anything, and then they later find out, and now they have to contact you and that kind of thing. But when it comes to sexual activity, we have to realize that we're responsible and we're accountable, and that responsibility and accountability begins and ends with you. So I do sympathize with all of the cases that they're saying are coming out now with this. I just don't fully understand it because there's just no way that we, with again, all the resources that we have, all the information that's out there, all the tools that we can assist us to make a decision that we won't regret. Too many of us are making decisions that we're regretting, and it doesn't take us long to regret them. And like I said, it's kind of a mystery to me. It's like, here's a way to prevent pregnancy. Here's 230 ways to prevent pregnancy. I'm pregnant and I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay. Here's many ways to prevent STDs. I got this STD. Now I have HIV and I can't believe it. I can't believe I think this person did this to me on purpose. Whether they did or not is not going to change the fact that you did not take the measures to protect yourself. And I get it. People don't want to, say, hey, I mean, even if you ask someone, if, like I said, if they don't know, they don't even know yet. Or sometimes they do, but they're like, oh, well. So I know this is not an easy topic to talk about, and most people do not like to be told that they're responsible for their actions. Jesus, it's like it's always someone else. He didn't tell me. She didn't tell me. I asked and they said that they didn't have anything. First of all, why are you asking? You should be in the clinic with them. Everyone's taking tests together. And I'm saying right there with them when they're getting results because we all know they're fake things online that you can get to say that you have a clean bill of health. And I get it. You don't want to have to spend a lot of time researching, investigating, finding out if someone had the test, finding out if these are the correct test results. But in the long run and in the long term, is it worth it to really be cognizant of what you're risking? Because it's definitely a risk. And as they used to say back in the day, there are some things you just won't be able to get rid of. And it robs you of your time, robs you of your health, robs you of your mental health. It's just makes no sense to me when we are really at a stage, and most of us at an age where all of that could have been and should have been prevented. So please don't take this video as someone that's pointing fingers or blaming someone or doing anything like that. Again, I was just surprised to hear that HIV was on a major uprise. I was like, but that's something we don't have to see again. And it's, again, as I said, the same with pregnancies, with people. claiming they didn't, whatever, didn't use anything, or I used something but it broke, or and 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 for the pregnancy one, this is s- another part that I wanted to touch on. There are some people, not all, but there are some people that for a fact know that they don't want children. They just don't think that, parenting is for them. And it isn't for everyone. Let's just be honest. Parenting isn't for everyone. Marriage isn't for everyone. You know, some people know what their characteristics are and they know if that's something that they would, like to pursue. So what boggles my mind is when someone is really sure that they don't want that and then they wind up in that situation. I'm pregnant. I'm like, but if you knew you never wanted to have that, there's procedures you could have done that would definitely have ensured that. Or there are procedures that can be done that's temporary. So if you do change your mind, you can always do that. So this whole thing, I'm like, what has the world come to? Why do we insist on having our heads in the sand, thinking it's always going to happen to someone else and not to me? Anyway, I know this is not usual kind of topic my wisdom walkers are tuning in for me with, but there's some things you have to say, come on, someone has to speak up and someone has to speak out, and we have to start looking at some common sense measures to stop this tide of everyone just not knowing any better, not doing any better, not knowing, not growing, and we all just keep saying, "Oh, well, that's just the way it is. That's just life. That's just this." No, begin to protect you, begin to create the life you want, and begin to understand what the ramifications are with the choices that we make. So, I just wanted to share that information in the video. This is Sherry. This is Life Lessons Learned. For some of you who may have found yourself, can't say the victim, but who have found yourself in that situation. And again, I'm not talking about people who are been, you know, abused or anything like that. I'm talking about people who have decided that they met someone, they want to be with someone, they're moving forward in whatever type of relationship that they're moving forward in. And then these things, they don't just happen, okay? We kind of create them. But leave your comments below. I would certainly like to hear some of the experiences that you guys have had, what you were able to do as a result of that, or how some of you have decided you are accountable and responsible, and some of the things you do to ensure or to try to ensure. Because let's face it, I mean, I'm just going to be honest. Sometimes it really is just a crapshoot. Okay, you're with someone, you're faithful and loyal to them, and you're thinking that that's the way they are with you, and you find out that's not the case. That doesn't have anything to do with you or what your um, input was in that situation. So, I mean, it's difficult out here, you guys, and it's a whole new world. But let's not go back to HIV running rampant through the communities, people getting their lives shortened because of a disease that could have been prevented. Thanks. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.